But they interviewed old WNBA fans, and they were listing the reasons why they became fans of the league. And one of them literally said they became fans of the league because it didn't have the same kind of criticism. Or right here, Holt and other longtime fans said that they didn't see opposing players as enemies to trash talk, but as collaborators in a burgeoning effort to promote women's basketball.
The Women's Basketball League faces significant challenges as athletes continue confronting supporters while negotiating upcoming collective bargaining agreements. Instead of fostering positive relationships with audiences, players persist in disparaging those who attend games and purchase merchandise. Recent investigations by major publications revealed longtime supporters explaining their original attraction to women's basketball. These dedicated followers emphasized how the sport initially offered different dynamics compared to traditional athletics. Many appreciated the collaborative atmosphere where competitors weren't viewed as adversaries deserving hostility, but rather partners working together to elevate women's sports visibility. One longtime enthusiast described growing up attending football games where spectators threw objects at visiting teams and witnessed violent altercations requiring law enforcement intervention.
Effort to promote women's basketball. Sorry, the rest of the sports world has discovered this league. For Brooks, a lifelong sports fan, the experience felt entirely new. She had grown up in Philly attending Eagles games with her dad and watching spectators hurl snowballs at opposing players. She learned a dictionary worth of curse words and witnessed brawls that ended in bloody noses and handcuffed police escorts. Nonetheless,
the contrast with women's basketball created an entirely fresh experience for this supporter who valued the more respectful environment. However, current developments suggest original supporters prefer maintaining distance from mainstream sports culture. These established followers appear uncomfortable with typical athletic criticism and seemingly oppose broader audiences discovering their preferred entertainment. While expressing desires for growth, they demand expansion occur within specific parameters. Traditional sports environments involve harsh critique and intense scrutiny. Future legal complications may emerge as the league attempts suppressing commentary and criticism from content creators and social media personalities.
Sunday football was about decompression. Here we go. They don't want the same criticism. Here, I understand hardcore fandom, and in particular being a kid in that space. Those spaces are very male spaces. So really, most of these old WNBA fans, they don't want men to watch this sport. They don't. And they certainly don't want fans of other.
Such actions could result in significant litigation challenging free speech restrictions. Alyssa Thomas recently addressed fan behavior, stating that contemporary sports culture allows supporters excessive freedom in their commentary toward athletes. She emphasized that players face inappropriate remarks while performing their professional duties, unlike individuals in private sector employment who avoid such public scrutiny. Thomas advocated for enhanced player protection while acknowledging the unfortunate necessity of addressing these issues. The fundamental difference lies in public versus private employment. Entertainers and athletes working in highly visible positions naturally attract criticism, sometimes severely harsh.
Other sports watching their sport. They want to grow, but they want to grow a certain way. Regular sports fans criticize, sometimes harshly so. And there'll be a video coming about the Chicago Sky and that woke tech service they decided to hire. Because I got some comments about that too that I'll get to in another video. But I mean, I'm like,
Thomas's comments specifically targeted supporters of Caitlin Clark, given her relationship with teammate Diana Taurasi creates unique dynamics within the league structure. This situation represents unprecedented developments in professional athletics. When Thomas requested roster changes to join her partner on different teams, public reaction included substantial criticism. Such arrangements damage league credibility and professional integrity, making it difficult for serious sports enthusiasts to respect the competition. These public statements from players like Thomas directly contribute to declining attendance and revenue. When Clark sustained injuries, ticket demand immediately collapsed as supporters refused paying premium prices for athletes who demonstrate ingratitude toward growing fan interest.
Some comments about that too that I'll get to in another video, but I mean, I'm like, they're going to mess around and they're going to have creators, influencers, etc. This league will end up catching lawsuits from people. That's where that's going to end up heading. I can tell you right now, because they're going to, at some point, they're going to try to squash people's voices, and they're going to legally, smash them for trying that. So I hope they understand what it is.
All-Star Game ticket values plummeted 50% following Clark's absence announcement. Initial pricing at $121 per seat dropped to $64 according to multiple ticketing platforms. This dramatic decrease occurred within days of injury news breaking, demonstrating Clark's enormous impact on league economics. The financial consequences extend beyond individual games, affecting entire weekend events and related business opportunities. These statistics confirm widespread reporting from sports industry publications tracking market fluctuations. Such dramatic price reductions result from athletes publicly criticizing supporters who contribute to television contracts and sponsorship agreements.
The roads they're going down. So here we go. Alyssa Thomas, right here, talking about the fandom.
Yes, I think, our sports culture, I think so many fans, feel they have the freedom to say whatever they want to us, and unfortunately there's a lot of nasty things that come with it. At the end of the day, we're here doing our job.
Players resist accepting scrutiny that athletes in other major leagues routinely endure. They cannot dictate how supporters express opinions or criticism. Continuous accusations targeting Clark's supporters as discriminatory create dangerous precedents. The primary driving force behind lucrative media contracts stems from expanding viewership attracted by specific players. Alienating these supporters through repeated accusations risks losing the very demographics responsible for increased league valuations. Persistent attacks on fan loyalty may eventually prompt legal action for defamation and character assassination.
At the end of the day, we're here doing our jobs, and, they don't have people coming to their job saying these nasty things. So, we definitely have to protect the players better. It's unfortunate that it's come to this point, but I know we're going to continue to speak up about it, and we're just trying to play basketball. That's all.
Okay, well, number one, you got a job that's in the public light. That's the difference between you and a guy on some garbage truck somewhere, or some lady that's an accountant in some office.
Large supporter groups may reach breaking points regarding constant negative characterizations of their motivations. No other professional sports leagues regularly disparage their paying customers with such frequency and intensity. Athletes in basketball, football, and other sports understand that public careers involve comprehensive criticism covering performance, behavior, social media activity, and personal choices. Public figures accepting prominent positions must expect opinions on all aspects of their professional and public lives. Privacy exists only for matters kept completely private. Original supporters, described in publications as preferring non-confrontational environments, even oppose standard basketball traditions like crowd noise during free throw attempts.
A guy on some garbage truck somewhere, or some lady that's an accountant in some office that's not in the public light. You're going to get criticized, and sometimes harshly so. But what she really meant was Caitlin Clark fans. Let's be real. This is DeWanna Bonner's girlfriend, wife, whatever they want to think. Well, we just watched what she tried to do with the Fever. She got herself let go so she could go where? Join her significant other on another team.
Such expectations demonstrate fundamental misunderstanding of competitive sports culture. The disconnect between traditional athletic entertainment and current league expectations continues widening. These developments may ultimately strengthen opposition support rather than diminishing it, as controversy often increases rather than decreases public interest and engagement. The recent WNBA All-Star competition concluded with Caitlin Clark's squad falling short against their opponents. While the defeat itself wasn't the primary focus, the apparel choices made by the athletes became a significant talking point. The players wore shirts advocating for improved compensation and greater equality within professional basketball.
Whole CBA agreement. Now, Caitlin Clark had on a shirt that actually stated she deserved money like NBA players. Now, I told y'all my thoughts on this, bro. I told y'all my thoughts on this. And me personally, I feel as if these WNBA players definitely deserve more money. Should they be getting money like the NBA players? I don't think so. They owe these NBA owners a lot of money, bro. And me personally, I feel like it's kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Clark and her teammates donned clothing featuring messages about deserving financial treatment, similar to NBA athletes. This gesture referenced ongoing collective bargaining discussions within the league. The demonstration highlighted persistent conversations about salary disparities between men's and women's professional basketball. Many observers believe WNBA athletes merit increased compensation, though opinions differ on whether payments should match NBA levels. The financial relationship between leagues creates complex considerations as NBA franchise owners maintain significant investments in WNBA operations. Critics pointed out the substantial revenue differences between leagues.
I feel like it's kind of, you know what I'm saying, a conflict of interest a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said didn't play in the NBA, nothing is stopping you. Oh, wait, that would imply equality, right? So people was definitely talking about this shirt Caitlin Clark had on, man. Somebody said, we love you, CC, but the NBA and the WNBA are business, and you are paid according to what the business brings in. And the numbers are a little lopsided there, CC. There's a huge difference in $11 billion.
NBA operations generated approximately $11 billion in 2023 to 2024, representing a 13% growth from the previous year. Financial forecasts suggest NBA earnings could surpass $12 billion by 2025. In contrast, WNBA revenues reached roughly $200 million in 2024, yet the organization reportedly operated at a deficit. The financial shortfall stems partly from obligations to team ownership groups. Despite these challenges, many argue that current player salaries around $80,000 annually, with maximum earnings capped in the low hundreds of thousands, remain insufficient. A more reasonable compensation structure might involve million-dollar contracts for top performers.
There's a huge difference in $11 billion and $200 million. Now, this right here is the number generated. It's the NBA generated revenue is $11 billion in 2023 and through 24. Somebody said, it goes on to say this reflects a 13% increase since 2022. Projections indicate that the NBA revenue could exceed $12 billion by 25. Now, in 2024, the WNBA grossed approximately $200 million. However,
achieving NBA-level salaries would require demonstrating league sustainability independent of individual star players. Clark's presence significantly impacts viewership and revenue generation, raising questions about long-term viability without such marquee talents. Financial analysis reveals that player compensation represents merely 10% of total league revenue, a relatively small portion compared to other professional sports. The estimated deficit of approximately $50 million partially results from this compensation structure and operational costs. During the actual competition, Aja Wilson delivered an outstanding performance, establishing a new WNBA All-Star scoring record with 36 points. She also contributed 9 rebounds while shooting an impressive 13 of 16 from the field.
$100 million. However, despite this revenue, the league is projected to have operated at a loss. Yes. Now, we all remember when that came out that the WNBA actually did operate as a loss due to them owing the team owners, bro. It's the team owners. It's the reason why they cannot make a profit. Now, should they be making just $80,000 a year or cap it like a 200 or something? No.
Her dominant display overshadowed other statistical achievements during the event. Paige Bleckers made history as the youngest participant to record a double-double in All-Star competition. Meanwhile, Clark continued her impressive rookie campaign despite the team's loss. The Indianapolis crowd enthusiastically supported the event, creating an electric atmosphere throughout the venue. Spectators began chanting supportive messages about player compensation during the proceedings. The pay-us shirts worn by both teams became a visual representation of ongoing salary negotiations and equality demands within women's professional basketball.
No, should they be making $1 million? I definitely believe they should be making $1 million, bro. And no ifs, fans, or buts about it. They deserve to be making $1 million. And whoever don't think they should be making $1 million definitely is tripping, man. These ladies definitely should be making some M's, dog. But for them making the type of money NBA players make, I'm sorry, guys. I will never be for that until this league.
The demonstration represents broader conversations about professional sports compensation and gender equity. While supporters argue for immediate salary increases, others emphasize the need for sustainable business models before implementing major financial changes. The contrast between league revenues highlights fundamental challenges facing women's professional sports. NBA's established market presence and decades of growth created current compensation structures, while WNBA continues developing its audience and revenue streams. Indianapolis fans demonstrated strong support for both the competition and players' advocacy efforts.
League proves that they can survive without Caitlyn, bro. Caitlyn is the reason they need this money, bro. And then with estimates suggesting a default of around 50 million, this is partially due to the fact that the player salaries only account for a small 10% of the overall revenue, with less than 10% going into players' money, bro. Computation. So, at the end of the day,
the enthusiastic crowd response suggested growing public interest in both game quality and broader equality discussions surrounding women's athletics. The All-Star Weekend featured additional skill competitions and events beyond the main game. These activities provided platforms for showcasing talent while maintaining focus on entertainment value and league promotion. Player advocacy through visible demonstrations like coordinated apparel choices represents evolving approaches to labor negotiations in professional sports. The strategy brings public attention to compensation discussions typically conducted behind closed doors.
Money, bro. Computation. So, at the end of the day, dog, it's looking real spooky, and the WNBA is definitely making news over this, man. Now, Caitlin Clark definitely has some things turning heads too in other departments with this game. But Nafisa Collier, she scored 36 points. She had 9 rebounds. She was 13-16 from the field, which is great. You know what I'm saying? She balled out. Now, we know Caitlin Clark is hurt. Say Kiki Efford, the youngest player to record a double-double in the WNBA All-Star game.
The financial sustainability question remains central to salary increase discussions. League officials must balance player demands with operational realities and long-term growth strategies. Fan engagement continues growing, as evidenced by social media reactions and live event attendance. This increased interest provides optimism for future revenue growth and eventual salary improvements. The debate encompasses broader themes about professional sports economics, gender equality, and entertainment industry compensation structures.
To record a double-double in the WNBA All-Star game. These are some of the looks. What is this? I'm trying to see what. So fans started chanting, "Pay them." Wow, I didn't know that. When Kathy came up, y'all should have said, "Fix the rap."
Resolution requires balancing immediate player needs with sustainable business development. Current negotiations involve multiple stakeholders, including players, ownership groups, league management, and broadcast partners. Each party brings different priorities and constraints to compensation discussions. The visibility of All-Star Weekend provides an ideal platform for addressing these issues publicly. Player demonstrations during high-profile events ensure broader audience awareness of ongoing salary discussions and equality concerns within professional women's basketball.